9 o'clock. The Cicero Town Council meeting is now in session. Ms. Gary, if you could please take roll.
Certainly. Joe Cox.
Present.
Jacob Everett.
Present.
Eric Hayden.
Present.
Dennis Johnson.
Present.
Lily Pearson.
Present.
We have all quorum with all members present.
So just to be clear, this is a retreat with streets and utility.
Thank you.
Everybody have their mics on?
Yes.
You might turn yours down a little bit, Dennis. I speak loud and get crosstalk.
All right. So getting started on the retreat. Terry? Go
All
ahead.
right, Council, I do have some talking points that I handed out. Matter of fact, quite a few handouts. So basically, I was just wanting to give an overview of the personnel and what's been going on since the council gave, an increased pay for our certified operators. The council wanted to try to get the employees to want to, step out and take the responsibility to be certified operators for water and wastewater. So I was just given a countdown that we have 5 employees now with water certifications. We have 4 employees with wastewater certifications. We have 6 employees with the state pesticide applicator license and 1 employee with a state registered pesticide license. Now the pesticide license, as noted below, that is for our Cicero's mosquito control. So they are actually licensed, it's through Purdue. They're actually licensed to know how to mix, know how to spray. And another note, our equipment is certified every year. So there's a company that comes in so that the atomizer part of it, the molecules are exactly right, the hang time is right. It's not just a swing in the dark like probably Facebook things, but it is certified every year. And like I said, the people that are doing this are certified, licensed pesticide applicators. Also, I wanted to touch on, I know some of you are new to the council, that I had discussed about an additional utility employee as the sewage plant is doubling in size, and we will probably be doing some upgrades to the water system that I foresee that we'll need to have an additional water plant, a water operator or person toward the end of us building the new water plant. Of course, the wastewater plant's going to be online real soon. So basically, just to let you know, Ron and I, when we work on the 27 budget, that'll be in the budget maybe for 2027, but for your review, basically.
So we don't necessarily need to hire him in the near future.
No, I would suspect that we probably, as we get into 2027, we probably will.
Okay.
My hope is that we will be in construction for the water department, and so to kind of bring them on during 2027. So I thought I would put the numbers in the budget, knowing that, okay, it might not be utilized in 2027, but this is kind of what we're looking at. Just kind of get it on you guys' radar screen. So.
Great job with pushing these added certification pay. So
Thank you. It's all the council. I mean, many times they've come up and told me, hey, at 40%, 40 cents an hour, me taking responsibility, because now when they come in and run the plant, they can't say, hey, I'm not a certified operator, I'm just an employee. Now it's like the state says, hey, wait a minute, you're certified, you should have known better. So it is a responsibility. Mentally, it's a responsibility. So yes, they very much appreciate being rewarded for doing the extra step, and it's helping Cicero out by
Sure.
Now we've got several certified operators.
good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And pushing us to help.
Well, on top of all that, just to put it on the record, your whole team over this last 2 weeks did fantastic.
Thank you.
Make sure they know that.
Yeah,
Very much appreciated.
Thank you. And then I just wanted to introduce you again to the management team. So, I have Sean Wilson, who's the senior superintendent. He has 23 years of experience with the town of Cicero. You have Matt Doxson. He's your wastewater superintendent. He has 23 years with the town of Cicero. You have Donald Bennett, who is DJ. He's your water superintendent with 20 years of experience with Cicero. And then Shannon Fiddler is your town foreman with 12 years of experience. I just kind of wanted to reintroduce you guys to your management team. Next page, it's street department, your CCMG projects. We're finishing up the 2025 West Jackson Street and compiling a punch list. So I have talked with Keith, and as soon as this weather breaks, we're gonna do a walkthrough and actually double check and make sure we got everything down for that. As you know, we're opening the bids for East Jackson next Tuesday. And so it kind of in talking about what our next CCMG projects, you know, the 2027, say, you know, I would suggest we finish the West Jackson Street from Pearl to the bridge. I mean, I understand there's a lot of moving parts because of the intersection, but that is one of my suggestions, that to finish this major corridor from Tollgate through town, that's one that's really catching a lot of traffic because of 31 being open now. You know, so, and that's what I said for 27, 2028, continue this bridge to Tollgate. And what I've done now, if you'll look, Eric wanted me to present this to the council. This is our PACER grading scale. And then the other sheet is how you come up with those numbers. Now, we have a manual that actually has pictures, because I do better with pictures, that shows you exactly how to come up with a grade 5 or a grade 7. And one of the things I do want to bring to your attention, and I'm just pulling these numbers out, say a grade 4 in a local street is not the same as a grade 4 on a major collector. And the reason is traffic count. Your local streets are not going to get the traffic of a major collector. So, you know, you're probably getting 50 times the traffic on Jackson Street than you would, say, on a Britton Street, or even in subdivisions. You got to realize that a grade 4 in a subdivision is not going to catch the same traffic as a grade 4 on a Washington Street. I'm just throwing those numbers out, not looking at the actual grades, but that's something to kind of keep in mind. It's traffic count. In a nutshell, your pavement acts like a paper clip. Every time somebody drives it, you're bending the paper clip. So it's a traffic cycle that starts breaking down the pavement. So
and on this sheet here, there's nothing that refers to the traffic.
No.
Okay.
You know, you kind of just know that, okay, that's Morris Landing Drive from this section to that section. And you can kind of visualize that it's not going to get the traffic that a Pearl Street's going to get, or, you know, one of your other roads definitely not going to get the traffic that, you know, Jackson Street gets. But they still are all graded the same, but the deterioration of a 4 in Morris Landing is not going to go to a 3 as quick as a 4 in the other parts of town. That's just kind of what I was, you know, kind of pointing out. But that
does play into the grant opportunities, because the PASA rating is part of that.
Yes, that's a great point, Dan, because Dan does getting the grants part of it. And so you get better chance to pick up grants, and they actually want to see those grants in the 4 to 5 range of grading. In other words, they're not going to grade you as good if you're trying to repave a 7 or 8. And another thing I'll bring up is that, and I don't know if it's put in here, is that a brand new road for the first year is a 10. So if you see it go to a 9, that's what you're supposed to do. So a brand new road is only a 10 for 1 year. Then it goes to a 9. Now it might lay there at that 9 for several years, but that's kind of how, you know, if you kind of read the grading, a 10, well, it probably says it in the 10, the 9s, the 8s, that's a new road. And so basically what you're doing is, what we do is crack seal. And,
Are you the one who gives these ratings, or your team, or who does these ratings?
Sean has been doing that for the
Okay.
last 2 years. I started it out when I first started here, and then Sean, that's his baby to rock now. So
Yeah.
We, these are all dated that they were rated last year. Do you
Yes.
guys do that every year? or-
Yes.
Okay.
That is every year. So usually September-ish of this year, we'll grade them again. Usually you see the biggest change in a road after a winter cycle.
The requirement is every 2 years, right? We're ahead of the curve.
Well, yes, and yes, but if you want a CCMG grant, you have to do it every year.
Okay.
So that's the only caveat. You can do it every other year, but then you're not grant eligible
Okay.
until you do it. So,
Right.
so we just do it every year because that way we have a chance if we want to get a community crossing grant. So
Thank you for providing this.
you're welcome.
I do have one comment just to the council, something to think about. I've been seeing a lot more semi-traffic coming through town. I know that there are some communities that you have to go around. You know, they put a thoroughfare out by Bex. Just something on the back of your minds, we're spending big dollars to beautify downtown and to make it walkable. And there are semis that are coming through more frequently than I've seen in the past.
I have noticed that traffic's backing up in the afternoon, way back here. I think we're gonna have to have a conversation about some kind of turn lane, whether it be alternating.
Is that
things
still
or time of day.
happening?
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was backed up past Groomingdale's the other day when I was coming out.
So that's a different discussion we have to have other than semis, but I think
Yeah.
we need to discuss semis going through downtown as well.
Sure.
If we stop semis coming through town, how does that get registered?
No,
Does it, or is
It's
it
a local
registered with
ordinance.
the state,
Mhm.
or is it? I
It's
mean,
a local ordinance
how does
that
a
our police
semi-driver
could-
know not to come through?
We have to put sign, I'm saying what I think I know, and I'm not an attorney, but I know you can put signs up, and I believe if it's an ordinance, your police officers can enforce it.
Do we have to provide an alternative route?
I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, over on, what's Bex Road, 281st, that bypass they just did would be a good thoroughfare.
Yeah,
And we can't do anything with 19,
right.
and that's a state road, but on Jackson Street, we could.
I'm not even sure where they're going, because I am seeing a lot of them, but I'm not understanding where exactly they're headed around
So
here.
that is, if they're loaded, that and
Yeah.
dump trucks
Mhm.
is definitely an issue on our roads.
Yeah, I see a lot of dump trucks.
Well,
Mhm. And they're all overloaded too.
Yeah.
A rule of thumb is if they're above the metal part of the bed, that's where they're designed to be their load. So if they've got a sideboard, see it
It's
on
good
top
to
of the
say.
sideboard, that's how much overloaded they are.
I think he
So,
had.
but there's gotta be some way for a truck driver to, because they put in GPS and they take their designation.
Yeah.
And there's gotta be something
Meeting hadn't
that can
started.
say, for instance, Keystone Parkway in Carmel, 18-wheelers aren't allowed on that road. Sometimes they do it, I just
Right.
followed one the other day, but sometimes you'll see cops have them pulled over
Yeah.
because they're gonna get a ticket because they're instructed to go down Meridian.
Sure.
So it's just, I don't wanna take away from this
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
I just want you guys to think
Anyway,
about it.
I think we should have a conversation.
It's valid, definitely valid.
The next thing I want to talk about is the road salt. I know I don't do Facebook, but I hear from Facebook that everybody's got a solution on Facebook of why we shouldn't be out of salt. So I just kind of wanted to let you know that the town of Cicero is in a purchase agreement contract with Cargill Road Salt Division. Cicero is in a co-op with Hamilton County and 9 other Hamilton County towns and cities. Our salt barn was filled on April of 2025, and it was over 120 tons. It was filled, we couldn't get another piece in it. And that's to assure that when, we would not have any interruptions at the start of the winter 2025 salting operations. We have been unable to receive additional deliveries, running only on what we had on hand due to a regional salt shortage. I have tried to secure other supplies of salt and thought I had found salt at Burns Harbor, Indiana, which was about a 6-hour round trip. This did not happen. I was actually talking with Prater, Josh Prater. He had 2 triaxles. He already told me how much he would charge to go and pick that salt up. And then when I tried to actually secure it and make sure it was there, when he got there, they didn't have salt. And then another
Wait,
lead
you
I
actually
had.
made the trip and they didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, before he went, I was going to be
I
assured that the salt would be there when he got there, and they couldn't assure me that it would be when he got there. So, no, he did not go. Then I heard that there was some in Kansas, but that's not feasible. So, and then an update, on the 27th, we did receive 40 tons.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
we have,
we-
how many?
So we got 2 triaxle loads the 27th, and using it wisely, that'll probably get us through, unless we have some sort of a huge ice storm. We've probably got enough to limp through the rest of this season, if it's a normal season.
Are you still gonna try to secure more?
Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we're still under contract. They've got a contract for 120 more tons. But if they don't have it, I can't get it.
Right.
So, I will fill that barn as we have every year since we built the barn. We've only had that barn for about 3 years, and man, is that a godsend. So we fill that every summer, or spring, April-ish, before the new contract, so.
Just out of curiosity, what's causing the shortage?
I've heard that there are mining problems, and then they also said it was compounded by the extreme weather we've had. And so they've pulled salt out of our region because we wasn't getting it, and now we are getting it. So it's kind of like several different things that they're said that's causing the supply chain problems.
Gotcha.
We're all in, in our co-op, that's Carmel, that's Noblesville, Hamilton County. We're not the Lone Rangers, and I've been talking. And the only reason why you're seeing the state still salting at the high levels is they've got multiple salt barns that was full all over the state. So they're sort of been able to pull out of different areas. Until just a few years ago, we had a little lean-to that we throwed about probably 20 tons in. So, I mean, thank God, the council allowed me to build that salt barn where we're going into the season of at least 120 tons. So.
So I think that's the key takeaway. He fills it up in early spring, we have 120 tons, then we have an order for another 120 tons during the season, and they've only delivered 40 tons just recently.
Right.
So there's still 80 tons out
Mhm.
standing of what they have committed when he signed the contract
Right.
to
Yeah.
deliver to us.
Right.
And we got significant snow a little earlier.
Yeah.
We did, so.
The street department, the new dump truck and salt spreader. The truck chassis is in, it's sitting in Indianapolis, and we're waiting on delivery of the plow and snow box parts to complete the truck build. The builder hopes to have everything finished in March, and this will be a great addition to it. We'll have 2 big trucks in to go out and salt. The other thing I wanted to bring up is that the council had discussed being the bank on this purchase, and the street department would make annual payments with interest to the town. And Rhonda has received new quotes. So here is the new quote that Rhonda received as far as the interest rate and the payment that the bonds, the government leasing and finance company, to give you an idea of what the interest rate is, and our payment of $56,000.
So Rhonda, that's higher than the interest rate we're getting currently, isn't it?
No, not really. We mean getting,
On our cash?
Investing our money.
it is certainly higher.
Okay, so Terry and I talked about this. I think it would make sense. So if you remember, that's a separate entity. That's not part of the general budget. He has his own budget that has his own revenue sources. So instead of, Terry and I spoke, and I think we talked about this some other time. Instead of paying an outside company, we should cover this and loan that money to this department at this interest rate or whatever is determined, and it's beneficial to both.
So one other thing I wanted to bring up is that we ordered this truck last year, and I had a payment in the budget for last year, and I encumbered that. So there is a $56,000 down payment, or however the council wants to do that. But I do have, like for this year, I could either make a double payment, or I could pay down the $246,000 by $56,000. So there is that option. If
They don't like to do, because we did that when Stormwater gave the payment.
Exactly.
They said we don't do business
Right.
this way.
So
You can't make
basically,
it.
what we would do then is, if we go with government leasing or with the town of Cicero, that $246,000 would be less the $56,000 I have
Yes.
set back for last year's payment. You see what I'm saying? We ordered it last year, but it was in the budget, so.
The town will gladly accept your additional
Oh,
payment.
there you go.
US Bancorp, not so much.
Okay, I was just wanting the council to know I do have two
I don't know
payments
if the
right
town
now.
would want to either.
True.
Yeah, I don't know that the town would want to, so.
Mhm.
So however,
See what happens with his needs this year before we make the decision.
So to me, I think the town should fund this, and then we just have to agree on an interest rate. 20% sounds pretty good.
That's where I was at, Eric. I
and
like
that's,
that.
that's fine with the street department because you guys fund me anyway.
Terry, are we taking a truck out of rotation or?
No,
Okay.
so, because the truck we have is 23, 4 years old, what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be really great, we will have a dump truck during the winter. So what we do now, we have to, like we had that big water leak, just right in front of Christmas. We had to have a dump truck to carry spoils off, carry sand and gravel back. And that keeps us from having to break down the salt spreading bed, take
Sure.
break it down. So because the trucks, it's worth a lot to us, but not as a trade-in, we're gonna leave that as a dump truck. But in case of an emergency, if we see another snowmageddon coming up, we still have this stainless steel salt bed we can put in it and the plow to put on it. It's just so old, it's got a tendency, if you're out plowing and stuff, things quit. So, but now we'll have two full trucks that we will have ready to plow, ready to salt, but then and also a dump truck, so.
Do you want me to wait till this gets closer to delivery to add it to the agenda, or go ahead and add it to the agenda for approval and so when it comes in?
For self-funding.
Mhm. And I'll do some research on that.
We need to have Aaron draw some paperwork up between his department and,
I'll talk to Aaron about legally what he needs to do and what we need to do.
We done this once before, a long time ago, and we did have to have
Yeah.
a payment agreement for
Yeah.
State Board of Accounts. I mean,
Mhm.
Aaron can definitely tell you how to do it, but we done a backhoe this way,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we had to do. It was spelled out 5 years at X percent,
Alright.
but Aaron, yeah. Aaron
that's a
knows.
great idea.
I agree.
So I thought I'd also bring up the truck that was involved in the crash during the last snow event. We received the parts and repaired the items damaged in the crash. The truck and plow system performed flawlessly during the last snow. I have been in contact with the Gentleman's Insurance, which is Progressive, and I have invoiced Progressive Insurance for the parts and labor to repair the damage in the amount of $4,145. And I did, this is what I invoiced them, and I gave you guys a copy of that. Actually, the truck done real well against that little car, so it,
So, our driver of the truck.
Yes.
Did he go get checked out or anything? Does he
He-
have any medical?
no, he,
I don't wanna get into his medical.
Right.
But I guess we need to make sure that everything is good with him, so that their insurance covers
Right.
everything there.
so I don't know the particulars of what, but I do know Progressive have reached out to him, and he has signed paperwork with them.
Okay.
So there has been communication between Progressive, the Gentleman's Insurance, and the driver.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna know anything else.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure that he's covered it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Stormwater
Hey Terry,
department. Oh, yes.
Progressive's been good? You expect
Yes.
they'll pay this invoice promptly?
That's what they're saying. I emailed them, this into them yesterday and copied Rhonda, and they're happy. I mean,
Okay, good.
You could
Oh,
tell
sure.
they was very happy that they hit a $250,000 truck and only done $4,100 worth of damage. They were
Good.
proud, so.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to get it repaired anywhere else.
Yeah.
No, and the reason why we repaired it is because, we called the truck builder, and he said, man, we're 6 weeks out, if we can even get you in there just to look at it. So the truck builder did show up the very next morning. We went over the damage we seen, and, he concurred that And he kind of told us, okay, and that's the reason why I was glad that we had a snow event before I sent this in. So, because he said this is, you know, what to look for. We looked at the frame, we got underneath it, and there's pinch points in the frame, he said, that it's fine. So in other words, he knew where to look, that if it flexed that frame, that it would have shown.
Right.
Not only on the plow system, but on the truck itself. And he couldn't find any other damage than what we had, but until it had its first good plow underneath its belt, you know, then I was confident enough to send the bill into him, so. But that's the reason why we did it, but I charged shop rate hours, so.
Good.
Thank you.
Stormwater Department, the Morse Landing Drive under drain system replacement from 300 to 670 Morse Landing Drive will be the installation of a new semi-rigid perforated drainage system with stone backfill. Existing sump pumps and other encountered drainage connections will be reconnected to the new piping. Curbs will be replaced, pavement and driveway restorations will be included as needed. The project was needed to reduce water draining to the roadway, causing pavement deterioration and icing during cold weather. The bid opening was Monday, January the 26th, 2026. We received 9 bids, with the low base bid from SLB Pipe Solution in the amount of $282,375 and the mandatory alternate bid of $117,345. And I did give you guys a copy of the bid tabulation sheet if you wanted to review that. Just to give you a breakdown, is that the base bid was, there's 2 sections, so between 300 and 670, there was 1 section of pipe that we could get through and clean, and so it was usable, it was passable. The alternate bid, we broke it down in case the bids come in too high and the Stormwater Board couldn't afford the whole stretch, is the reason why we broke it down. So the alternate bid is to do in that section between the 2, so it's 1 section from 300 to 670 and not breaking in the middle where we had pipe that was, it's probably gonna fail, but it's not failed yet. So that's what the alternate is. It's that section between that hasn't failed yet, so.
So it's deteriorating, it just hasn't collapsed.
Exactly, and that gave the Stormwater Board an option that, hey, the bids come in more than we can afford, can we break this down? And that would have just left that middle section of the $117,000 that we'd have to come back and do later.
Are they voted this week on it, didn't they?
No, so right now, this is under advisement to Aaron and Keith.
Okay.
So to
Yeah.
do the entire section, you gotta add the 2 numbers together?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, add the 2 numbers together, and that's the total project.
So we do nothing with that though, Jacob, that's a stormwater utility
Mhm.
board. So then is this public information?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had contractors already call, one of the contractor wanted to copy this.
Oh, so you did send it? to
Yes,
them?
so I've, as a matter of fact, it was, I can tell you who it was.
E&B.
Directional Boring Professionals LLC has already asked for a
So it
copy.
would have been E&B paving, I believe, who reached out to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so. The next thing we'll touch on is wastewater department. We're still on track for substantial completion in April or May of 2026. Work is continuing. We've been doing startups on the sludge press system, all the automatic systems, the SCADA system. The other thing I want to touch on is that unseen damage to the original oxidation ditch. It was less than expected, but there still will be a change order because the additional expense was in the bought contract as an unknown, since we couldn't assess the damage until taking the tank out of service and draining. So it hadn't been drained for 35 years, of course, because we only had 1 treatment tank. Well, now we're going to have 2. So from now on, we can have maintenance on this tank. We don't wait 35 years and drain it and dig out 4 foot of grit out the bottom of it. So, but
How deep is the tank?
it's probably, I'd have to look on it, 20 feet?
So 20% wasn't even being utilized.
Exactly, which is cutting our capacity.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's just no way to tell there's that much
no,
grid,
I'm not
yeah.
saying
Oh, yeah,
anything,
yeah.
I'm just in my own
Right.
mind, it just dawned on me, 20% of that tank was not
Mhm.
able to do what it was intended.
Exactly, and that's volume, so in other words, when you start, we call it blowing a plant out, you start blowing it out 25% quicker than what the design flow is, because you've lost, 25%.
So the change order is really just moving it to a descriptive line item then?
Exactly. We don't know the numbers, we don't know the numbers yet of that, but we was all right with the grit removal. We had money set aside for cleaning the tanks, and thankfully we had enough to do that. What's gonna be the additional cost is, some of the concrete tank was cracked. It had big cracks, and actually, I got pictures, I should have brought some pictures, and it's cracked and actually moved. One of the good things, and Eric and I was talking about, some of the major damage was done where they already had to cut it out and put new towers in for the new rotors. So, yeah, they're probably gonna charge a little bit extra for that, but it's not like, hey, there's a huge crack right out there in the middle and you gotta pay 100% of it. So it was kinda lucky there, but,
So we'll want Keith to make sure he's paying attention to that, or show me so I can
Mhm.
just think of it.
yep. So, we have been asking for, what's the price? What is this gonna cost in our contingency money? So, we just haven't received that yet, so. Wastewater Department service truck, the wastewater service truck is scheduled to be replaced in 2027. The cost will be included in the 2027 budget for council review. Estimated price is $30,000. The reason why we can buy a brand spanking new truck for $30,000 is that, number one, we trade ours in at full retail and we buy at wholesale fleet prices, so we don't get hit with that depreciation like a normal person does. And two directors ago started our service trucks on a 5-year replacement, and so we're actually right in their prime trade-in price. We're not running them to fail. They're not 10-year-old truck that's got all kinds of issues. So that's the reason why we can trade these trucks in that cheap. On paper, they look like but there is issues with us plowing snow with them. I know you guys know that we kept 2 of the trucks out of cycle and sold 1 to the Parks Department, and we kept 1, and within 8 to 10 months, the transmissions went out of both of them. They're not, they're great trucks, and we take care of them, but they get a full dose of plowing snow. And, so that's the reason why Jerry and Pat, the 2 previous directors, put it on a 5-year. So we're getting good trade-in. It's not like, oh my God, they're junk, so we're gonna pay $55,000 for a new truck. We're just getting good trade-in. The water department, I just wanted to touch bases like I did last time. So if you look at that, that's January of 2025. The plant ran 483,000 gallons a day, and the plant run 10 hours, 10.3 hours. And then last year, we pumped the same time, in parentheses, is 580,000 gallons. It's just kind of giving you an idea. So say the plant runs 10.3 hours, that means we only have less than 14 hours to do all the maintenance, backflow, or backwash. So it's just to kind of let you know that when you get up into some of these others where it's running 16 hours a day, that really compresses the time that we have to do what we need to do, any replacements. So that being said, you don't want to see a lot of run times like that. And actually, we've actually seen, I don't know on this one, but a few years we've seen 19, almost 20 hours of run times during the summer. But one of the things I noticed, and what drives that is that summertime, everybody want to water their yards. As you can see that historically, that's when we use a lot of water. And I feel, that's just my personal opinion, I think the last 1 or 2 rate increases, people decided that our water wasn't so cheap that they just wanted to throw it on their yards. And I've actually kind of seen there's a little bit of reduction during the summer months, which is great. That buys us time, because I'm sure they'll get right back to watering their yards once they get used to it, so.
Hey Terry, and I didn't mention this when we talked earlier, but one thing, and I don't know how easy or difficult this is, it kind of goes to you too, Ron. Would it be possible to add another column with what we billed for that same period?
Oh, yes. And, you know, when we touched on that, I'm glad you brought that up. So every year, we do a water loss audit. And so, the carrot to that is the state wants you to do a water loss audit, and so they dangle the carrot that if you want an IFA loan, you have to do it every year. So, I mean, if you don't want a loan, or you don't want a grant, you don't have to do it every year, but I think it's mandatory every other year. So we do that every year. So, and we take Rhonda's build, so we know how much they bill, we know how much we pump, and we figure out a water loss. It's not that easy because you have fires, you have, we flush fire hydrants, which is part of our maintenance program. We also sell water independently, so there's several factors that goes into a water loss audit. And the state gives you, you know, this is horrible, and this is, oh my God, and you're doing great, and this is, you know, so we're falling into the great part of it. So now we do have water loss. So water loss would be leaks. I know that there's valves out there that's leaking that we don't know about. I know that there's joints out there, just like in a sewer pipe, there's joints probably leaking out there. But the only way that we can find those, and if and when we do get to a bad spot, there is companies that come in and they hook up listening devices on fire hydrants and valves, and then they can, by the sound, the vibration, they put it through a computer program and they can spit out, okay, you got leaks here, 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 here. And it'd just be a part where you'd go out there and catch the biggest, the worst ones, so.
I think it was DJ, when he was moved from wastewater to water, his first report, he said, oh my gosh, he couldn't believe the amount of water loss.
Yeah.
So he was like a dog with a bone, and he found so many areas that we
Right.
could improve on, and did, so he's done a fabulous
Yes,
job.
he has. DJ, he really takes his work to heart. And you know, one of the things that he figured out is we was losing, and it's expensive. That's the reason why you'll see in my budget, we spend $50,000 plus a year on meter replacement. That's what generates your income. So if you let an old meter lay in the ground, not only does they tell you they need to be replaced every 10 years, that is, you're losing. You know, a meter doesn't go fast. I know you see on Facebook and you talk to people, oh, if I use a lot of water, it's because my meter's old. No, the meter's like an old truck. How many people go down the interstate and say, I had to ride the brake on this 50-year-old truck because it wanted to run 100 miles an hour. No, you don't run into that. The old trucks, like an old meter, they run slower. And so some of our water loss is coming from our big meters, which are very expensive. And so the last couple of years, we have been replacing, and big meters are like 2-inch commercial meters. We've replaced, as a matter of fact, this past year, we started even replacing the 1-inch meters, because we continually upgrade the 5/8 by 3/4. So what we do 10% a year. We replace 10% of our residential meters a year, so that every 10 years, you replace them to stay in there and keep our revenue stream of us not giving away water, so. The water department also has is scheduled to replace one of their trucks in 2027. This cost will be also included in the 27 budget for the council to review. The estimated cost is $30,000, so. That's, any question? That's pretty well what I have for the retreat part.
Oh, thank you for putting this together and laying it out, it makes it super easy.
Very prepared, very nicely
Well, thank
done.
you.
Good job. Great job.
Thank you. And if you go back and have any questions, reach out to me, call me, email me, if you
I think
get
you guys are
bored.
doing a nice job, Terry. I
Thank you.
feel confident in everything you said.
Well, it's my team. I tell you what, those guys, I've got a good team there.
You do.
Really do.
We're in a pretty darn good groove in town here right now. I'd
We
say.
are. You know, morale's high. Knock on wood. But, you know, it's, there's nothing I can say bad about the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a real good team. And, like you were already saying, you know, them guys, you know, we not only have to plow, so the guys is plowing all night, half the day. They have to come in, we got water plants, we got sewage plants, so she's got work orders. And I hated it. I mean, we just no more got home. I know I was already in bed. I go to bed when the chickens come home. But I know the other guys, so at 5 till midnight, you know, I was already sound asleep. And I know those guys are asleep. You know, the PD calls me. It's like, oh my God, you know, we've got a home. His basement has got sewage creeping up in it. So I hated it. And I, you know, had to call Matt, our wastewater superintendent. And I said, hey, you just got a call, you know, I'm sorry. And he said, well, yeah, I just got in bed, you got to sleep, but I'm on my way out, you know. And that gentleman actually came to the shop the next day and to thank us that the response time was so quick, nothing happened. You know, he said, hey, I called the PD and there's flashing lights out in front of my house within 20 minutes, so.
Well, if you guys ever get in a shortage in a plow situation, I mean this sincerely, we can get Rhonda behind the wheel.
Oh, I'm
Plow.
game. Put me back there.
I like that, I second that.
Well, you know, it's the risk you take.
I can put a plow on my golf cart. I'm gonna bring him with me.
We already put Dan out on the gator, so.
He's good on
You
that
on the gator out there? I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
I've done that.
You're like the perfect utility hitter, my man. Every situation.
That's all I have for that, and whenever you want to go to the next stage, we can. So.
I'll make a motion to close the retreat discussions.
I'll second Dennis.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Because of advertisements, we have to wait until 10.